Please sit down.
My mom said I had the rights to beat your ass.
Nobody should hurt anybody else.
Yes, I should.
No.
Yes.
No. It is not. Fighting is never the answer.
Did I say I was gonna fight?
I don't promote.
Okay, you should never hurt anybody else.
But did I say I was gonna fight?
We don't promote violence.
See, that's how I know you put stuff in my mouth. But did I say that though? I didn't say that though.
Okay, I'm just telling you that violence.
Okay, I'm just telling you, don't put stuff in my mouth. Okay.
Blame nobody but the parents. Can't blame nobody but the motherfucking parents. Ain't nowhere in the world my kid would have felt like that was okay to say to a teacher after she asked you to sit down. Politely. If a teacher would have showed my child saying that on video to me, oh, I'm at the school. You think you bad? Better watch yourself. I will embarrass you in front of your motherfucking friends. What time does my daughter have your class? Because I will be there. Front row and center right when she walks through the door.
There was this other story of this girl. Hold on, let me grab it. Yeah, that one. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here because I really know what the problem is, and it's the economy. I like to think about how things lead back to usually a source or the issue, what the main issue is. And people are complaining online like, oh, these kids are bad. They don't listen. They don't do this. They don't do that. Their parents. And I'm like, you guys, we've had school shooting after school shooting after school shooting. Them kids in Tennessee had to go march up to the adults' place where they make the laws and rules, the Capitol, and say, fix the shit now. And as far as I know, I ain't seen nothing fixed. But okay, something that I know about being a kid and having my own is that you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're literally floating through life out here. Now imagine floating through life and your parents are constantly busy, constantly at work, constantly worried, right? Money's tight, and they're even trying to change child labor laws. Most teenagers work anyway. And let's not act like COVID didn't affect children as a whole, whether they were graduating or not. This is what happens when America continues to ignore the base problem, the main issue. The parents aren't there to raise and discipline their child at all. We at work. Okay. Of course, pepper spraying a teacher or anyone without motive is definitely fucked up, okay? Should there be consequences? I believe that's up to the school and her parents. But a lot of people are using this opportunity to say, well, look at how she was raised. I bet her parents. And they talk about why make it a race thing, and they do it undercover. Why? Why? Everyone's passing judgment on a child and they don't realize, oh yeah, she might be 17, 18. I still remember being dumb as hell during that time. I'm just saying, I made, and I'm pretty sure you did, plenty of mistakes at that age. And with today's events and the way stuff is going in the world, do you blame kids for acting out in school? The people I feel bad for is the teachers, because they are not respected at all by the government, by the state, by the students, by the parents. So no, I'm not going to expect children to be living in this current hell and act like fucking angels. If it's mental health, then let's do that. If she needs counseling, then let's do that. She is a child of the United States, one of the richest countries in the world. So I don't know why that would be a problem. Oh, I forgot. Americans don't give a fuck.
This entire interaction gave me bad vibes on both sides. And here's why. Because the teacher does not have the proper tools needed to handle this environment, and the students also are ill-equipped with proper tools. Both of them don't have the proper communication tools available. The teacher has not been equipped with the proper communication tools to speak to this culture or environment with their language. She does not speak their language, and they also don't have the proper communication tools to communicate effectively because, once again, she does not speak their language to be able to translate to give them those tools. So I don't know if this video was supposed to show that students are so bad. I don't see that. I just see two sides ill-equipped to communicate, speaking two different languages. But then again, one is the adult and the others are children. And the adult is supposed to be equipped to hand the children proper tools. Now, yes, there is some responsibility on the home life, but once those children leave home and speak the language of their home and come and talk in their language, and you don't know how to speak their language to then give them the proper tools of effective communication in their language, this is what occurs. I literally see this as like somebody came into a house that needed spackling, and the tools that they were given was Benjamin Moore, eggshell, paint. But you need spackling. You're ill-equipped to handle this environment. And the fact that you're ill-equipped to handle the environment is traumatizing not only to you, but also traumatizing to those students as well. So whoever was responsible for staffing is who I really blame for this. And whatever education that teachers are getting, specifically in terms of connecting with inner city kids or the culture of children that speak that language, I blame y'all too. You cannot force children that are in the said culture to adjust their language, to understand what the fuck you're talking about, to say you should never want to fight and what are you talking about? Even in my education, I don't know what you're talking about when you say you should never fight. That's incorrect, specifically to children who are subjugated to levels of violence socioeconomically. That's not how you communicate that they shouldn't say that to you. They have every right to fight. What you should say is that they should identify who they're fighting. You should be able to speak to them about who they're fighting, and it shouldn't be you. You should be on their side fighting, and you should be able to communicate to them that, yeah, there's a time to fight, and let me know I'm willing to fight with you. That's how you communicate in their language.
Hey, TikTok, came home, called myself ready to get out my clothes and get comfortable. Saw this video and said, let me put a little shirt on so I can come on back in and address this. What you just saw, if you didn't watch the whole video, go ahead and watch it. I literally just came on here to say, see, this is what we are trying to tell you. These are the things that are going on in our schools, in our classrooms. And so I'll start from the beginning. What you may have missed is the young lady announced that her mama said that somebody had earned a butt whooping. That's what she said. The teacher just simply was trying to tell her violence is not the answer. Although, by the way, I am from the hood and I understand that there's a hood code. Like, sometimes violence is the answer, right? Sometimes when I've been trying to tell you politely, sometimes the only way you understand is if I lay hands. And I get it. But you hear the little girl popping off just because the teacher told her violence was not the answer and that fighting is never the answer. You hear the students in the background heckling. So again, you need to ask yourselves, why? Are your teachers quitting? This is why. We are damned if we do. We are damned if we don't. This lady was in the video trying to create a safe space because we're tired of hearing these accusations of bullying left and right. And I'm not saying bullying doesn't happen, but bullying is not the complete problem of the school and the teachers. Sometimes it's y'all's kids. Sometimes your children are the problem. In this case, this young lady was talking smart. Kids in the background heckling. It's not okay for this young lady to be talking to this grown-up like they're the same age. It's not okay. And again, you have to ask yourself, where are the children learning this from? And why do they think it's okay to behave like this? And you probably need to make sure that your child is not one of the ones acting like this one in this video. Although I know for a fact some of you are in denial. Some of you will tell us, oh no, I don't allow disrespect. And your kids are downright disrespectful. So again, this is why your teachers are quitting. And some of them are not coming back.
And this is one of the reasons why I quit. After a degree, after clinicals, after 5 years of teaching, one of those reasons is why I quit. And what had happened was I had a difficult student who he would come in high. He would sleep all class, period. Wrote him up. Admin did absolutely nothing. To a point to where some admin were deleting my referrals, deleting them. I would go back in and they would be gone for multiple students. And my last straw was the same kid. We were about to read. The audio was for 10 minutes and 16 seconds. 10 minutes and 16 seconds, I was asking students to put their phone away. And I kept asking him and he wouldn't oblige. And he turns around to me and he says, "You annoying as fuck." That day I put in all my sick time. I put my 2 weeks in. I walked out. I ain't been back since. My stuff's still sitting in that desk. Y'all can kiss my...
I got one question for you. What are you doing? No, I mean, seriously, what are you doing? Because I'm a teacher and it sounds like you're having a classroom management problem, and instead of actually dealing with the issue, you decided to record it and humiliate your students on TikTok. I don't even work at your school, but I can see the racial tension and the racial dynamics that play out in your classroom. Because instead of a student who I'm hearing is 100% over whatever is happening, it seems as if that student is in distress. And I'm not talking, and the only sort of distress is not that level 10 distress where there's an emergency. I think that everything exists on a scale, and you are sitting there recording her during a moment where it sounds like this has happened pretty often in your classroom. And listen, I'm not perfect. Lord knows I'm not perfect in my classroom. And if you're a first-year teacher, I didn't get a chance to see that. If you're a first-year teacher, Lord knows how difficult it is in this day and age to be a teacher, just with everything going on. However, that difficulty does not entitle you to treat that student without dignity the way that you did. And this video is calling you in, because as educators, we do need to hold each other accountable. And that is just really messed up. I think that we can all agree, people who are watching this from the outside, that this educator clearly needs a lot of support. And I really pray that her administration is helping her, just because what I've seen on TikTok, just for views and likes, hundreds of thousands of likes, for what? You know, I'm just like, for what? And I mean, I don't mean to sound rude or anything, but another thought just crossed my mind where I'm like, is this what you're doing as your classroom management, is videotaping kids? Who told you that was a good idea? Like, I have a tough class. I'm always given a tough class. And I can promise you my classroom management does not come from recording my kids. So I really hope you take this as an opportunity to really reflect and think about why a lot of educators of color right now are calling you in for this unacceptable behavior.
I saw this video on my For You page, and then I saw a bunch of responses to it, and then I went back and read all the comments, and the more I thought about it, the more it irritated me, so let's talk about it. I'm not listing off all of my credentials because I don't think it matters. I'm sure somebody is going to tell me that I'm wrong about that, and I'll deal with it when I get there, but let's get into it. First off, this is an atrocious behavior management strategy. Just abysmal. Violence is never the answer, guys. Fighting is never the answer. That is the kind of response that you give when you see people you do not give a fuck about fighting or arguing. That is not the kind of response you give when you see people you care about or have love for being hostile towards each other. I saw this comment on this video, and it's my least favorite comment to see on videos like this, that's like, I don't judge anybody for leaving teaching when this is the condition of our schools. You know what? I do judge them, and I'm judging this person. You under the impression that violence is never the answer, guys, was an appropriate behavior management strategy? Who told you that? Who taught you that? Were you under the impression that teaching was going to be really easy? Who told you that? Who taught you that? Why? Violent or hostile or angry classroom situations did not start with COVID, and they are not ending anytime soon. And if you are in a place where a situation as honestly benign as this one is putting you off to teaching as a whole, leave. Leave. You shouldn't be there. You're harming your students. You're doing a disservice to them. And I'm sure that it's not fun for you either. The big difference that I'm seeing is that a lot of people are becoming teachers without actually doing any sort of interpersonal work and reflection about whether or not they can handle situations like this. We do not live in an after-school special. I've never met a child that sounds like or appears to be the same age as the students in this video who would respond well to that sort of behavior management strategy. I understand being tired. I understand that like maybe this was a bad day for this person and that was all they could muster up. And I don't care, because if they had been putting the work in before that or ever, it wouldn't have gone the way that it did. Being a teacher is hard. I get it. So is being a student. And it's made exponentially harder when teachers give this little of a fuck about you.
I'm going to share my unpopular opinion on this video, and I'm going to preface it by saying that no teacher deserves to experience harm at their workplace, be that physical or emotional, verbal, right? That's not the part of this video that I want to address. But what I am thinking about is the context of this situation. The responses that this teacher is getting are, very much sympathetic, very much, you're too nice, you're too sweet, oh, you're such an angel. How could those children treat you that way? You need to find a better job. And to me, it's problematic, right? Like when we are framing this in the way of like these kids lack respect, these kids lack self-discipline, they lack home training. Like, how do we think about what is it that that teacher is lacking? And the thing that she is lacking is called cultural competence, which means the ability to be able to adapt to an environment or a community that you have entered into, to be able to see and understand and respect that environment, and then find ways to then engage with the students or the people within that community. It is extremely clear just in that, that short clip, in the way that this teacher is addressing this student who said, my mama has the right to beat your ass, right? And it's unclear if she's talking to the teacher, to another student, whatever it is, right? But the response is this very like sanitary, like PBS after school special. Violence is never the answer. And that's just kind of the only way that that student is being engaged. And to be perfectly honest, like I would have probably laughed too when I was a kid, and I was a square in a private school. Like just the way that that communication is happening, something just feels very, very off as far as how that student is being engaged and how that behavior is being addressed. So to me, it's like, on the one hand, yes, students are showing some differences as far as how they're able to self-regulate, how they're able to show respect, be it to, adults or to peers, right? Like that is happening, but also there is this other piece of like, we have to be prepared to enter the classrooms that we're choosing to enter into. We have to be able to show that, we are there to fully engage with students and to understand where they're coming from and to, help them to kind of work through the things that they're bringing to the classroom. And if any of this doesn't, make any sense, at the very least, go back and look at her other videos. She has one about like Black people should be elves, and it's supposed to be a compliment. She has another one where she's like putting on blast, shaming all of the like spelling mistakes that students make. Like to me, those are the things that impact your ability to build trust and build relationships with students. And so that's going to lead into these outcomes that we see.
Don't forget to leave your opinion down below what you think. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on notification. Anytime I upload, you will be notified. Stay blessed and bye-bye.